Admiral Li Bin stared at the screen showing dozens of alien ships approaching his fleet. The massive vessels looked like floating crystals, beautiful but deadly. His hands gripped the command chair as he watched the enemy formation spread out across space near the human colony of Kepler 442. "They're demanding our surrender again." "Sir?" said Captain Park Nari from her position at the tactical station. Her voice stayed calm, but Li Bin could see the anger in her eyes. These aliens had attacked without warning, without even trying to talk first. The message came through the speakers in a cold, musical voice. "Primitive humans, you have 30 minutes to abandon your weapons and submit to Velthari authority. Your resistance is pointless. Accept your place as a lesser species and some of you may live." Commander Kim Tae, the Marine leader, laughed bitterly. "Lesser species? They haven't seen what humans can do when we're angry." Li Bin had been fighting for 40 years, first in the Earth Wars and then defending human colonies. He had never surrendered, and he wasn't going to start now. The aliens thought this would be easy. They were wrong. "All ships battle stations," Li Bin ordered. "Load nuclear torpedoes. Prepare ramming charges." Dr. Yoon Hana, the fleet science officer, looked up from her computer. "Sir, they're using some kind of energy weapons. Very advanced. But their ships seem built for show more than real fighting." The alien fleet moved closer in perfect formation. Li Bin had studied their previous attacks on other species. The Velthari always followed the same pattern. They would destroy a few ships, demand surrender, then accept it when the enemy gave up. It was all very civilized and proper. "They don't understand us," Li Bin said quietly. "They think we're like the others." The first alien shots hit the human fleet. Beams of blue energy tore through the destroyer Courage, splitting it in half. The cruiser Freedom lost its engines and started spinning helplessly. But instead of surrendering, the damaged ships kept fighting. "Freedom is requesting permission to ram the enemy flagship," Park Nari reported. "Granted," Li Bin said without hesitation. The crippled cruiser turned toward the largest alien ship, its engines pushed beyond safe limits. The Velthari seemed confused by this action. Their ships moved to avoid the collision, breaking their perfect formation. "Nuclear torpedoes away," called the weapons officer. The alien ships had shields that could stop normal weapons, but they weren't ready for nuclear explosives. 3 alien vessels disappeared in bright flashes. The Freedom crashed into the enemy flagship, its reactor overloading on impact. Both ships vanished in a ball of fire. Commander Kim Tae's voice came over the radio from the assault ship Hammer. "Sir, we're seeing something strange. The aliens are pulling back their damaged ships instead of fighting to the end." Li Bin nodded. He was starting to understand how these aliens thought. They fought like it was a game with rules. Humans fought like their lives depended on it because they did. The battle went on for 3 hours. The aliens had better weapons and more ships, but they kept making mistakes. They tried to save their damaged vessels instead of using them as weapons. They held back their strongest attacks, probably hoping to force surrender without too much destruction. "Sir, we've lost 8 ships," Park Nari reported. "The aliens have lost 12, but they still outnumber us 2-1. Li Bin looked around the bridge. His crew was tired and scared, but they weren't giving up. "How many nuclear charges do we have left?" 15, said the weapons officer. "Load them all into the main torpedo tubes. Set them for proximity detonation." Dr. Yoon Hana stared at him. "Sir, that's enough firepower to destroy both fleets." "That's the point," Li Bin said. "Open a channel to the alien commander." The screen showed a tall, elegant creature with silver skin and large black eyes. It looked surprised to see Li Bin still fighting. "Human commander, you have fought bravely, but you cannot win. Surrender now and we will treat your people well." Li Bin smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. "You want to know the difference between humans and other species? We don't surrender. We don't accept defeat, and we don't let enemies threaten our families." The alien commander looked confused. "You speak of family? This is war, not a personal matter." "For humans, war is always personal," Li Bin said. "You attacked our colony. You killed our people. You think you can just take what you want because you're stronger." "It is the natural order," the alien replied. "The strong rule the weak." Li Bin's smile grew colder. "Then let me show you how strong humans really are." He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. "All hands, abandon ship. Transfer to the escape pods." "Sir, what are you doing?" Park Nari asked. "I'm going to ram their command ship with a full nuclear payload. The explosion will take out most of their fleet." "Sir? You'll die," Kim Tae protested over the radio. "Maybe, but the colony will be safe." And these aliens will learn that attacking humans has a price. The crew reluctantly moved to the escape pods. Park Nari was the last to leave. Sir, this is insane. Even if you win, they'll just send more ships. Let them come, Li Bin said. By then, Earth will know what happened here. They'll be ready. He waited until all the pods were away, then set course for the alien command ship. The Defiance accelerated toward the enemy formation, all 15 nuclear charges armed and ready. The aliens tried to stop him, firing everything they had at the approaching human ship. But Li Bin had cut all the safety systems. The Defiance kept coming even as its hull was torn apart. At the last second, Li Bin triggered the nuclear charges. The explosion lit up space brighter than the local sun. When the light faded, the alien command ship was gone, along with 6 others caught in the blast. The surviving Velthari ships retreated in panic. They had won the battle, but at a terrible cost. Half their fleet was destroyed by humans they had expected to surrender easily. Captain Park Nari watched from her escape pod as the alien ships jumped to hyperspace. She activated her emergency beacon and sent a message to Earth. This is Captain Park Nari of the destroyed fleet. The aliens have superior technology and numbers, but they can be beaten. They don't understand sacrifice. They don't understand that some things are worth dying for. Admiral Li Bin showed them what humans are capable of. I recommend immediate military buildup. This war is far from over. The message would reach Earth in 3 weeks. By then, the Velthari would be telling the Galactic Council about the strange new species that fought like demons and died like heroes. The aliens had expected an easy victory and a quick surrender. Instead, they got their first taste of human warfare. They didn't like what they tasted, but it was too late to go back. The war had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. General Cho Wu stood before the Earth Defense Council, his uniform still bearing scorch marks from the latest battle. 6 months had passed since the disaster at Kepler 442, and the news had spread fear across human space. The aliens were coming, and they had technology humanity could barely understand. The Velthari fleet attacked 3 more colonies this week, Cho Wu reported to the assembled leaders. They're testing our defenses, learning our patterns. But they're also making mistakes. Ambassador Song Yuna leaned forward at the council table. What kind of mistakes? They still think we'll surrender, Cho Wu replied. Every battle follows the same pattern. They destroy some of our ships, demand we give up, then seem surprised when we keep fighting. Dr. Yoon Hana had survived the Kepler battle and now served as Earth's main expert on alien warfare. She activated a holographic display showing alien battle formations. I've studied every engagement we've had with them, she said. The Velthari and their allies fight like it's a sport with rules. They avoid unnecessary damage, try to minimize casualties, and always expect the losing side to surrender when defeat becomes obvious. Engineer Kang Sol, the Defense Ministry's top weapons designer, spoke up from his seat. We've been analyzing the wreckage from their ships. Their technology is advanced, but it's not designed for the kind of warfare humans practice. Explain, ordered President Chen, the head of Earth's government. Kang Sol stood and pointed to technical diagrams on his tablet. Their weapons are precise and efficient, designed to disable rather than destroy. Their shields can stop most conventional attacks but overload quickly under sustained assault. Most importantly, their ships aren't built to be expendable. General Cho Wu nodded grimly. That's their weakness. They value their equipment and their lives too much. We don't have that luxury. The meeting continued for hours as the council debated humanity's response. Some wanted to try diplomacy to find a peaceful solution. Others demanded immediate attack on alien positions. But it was Dr. Yoon Hana who provided the key insight. We need to understand what we're really fighting, she said. This isn't just about territory or resources. The aliens see us as an inferior species that needs to be controlled. They'll never accept us as equals. So what do you suggest? Ambassador Song Yuna asked. We stop trying to fight by their rules, Cho Wu answered. We show them what human warfare really looks like. 3 weeks later, the Velthari returned to human space with a massive invasion fleet. Their target was the Sol system itself, humanity's home. They expected to find desperate defenses around Earth and quick surrender once they demonstrated their overwhelming power. Instead, they found something unprecedented in galactic warfare. Lieutenant Colonel Bei Jin commanded the defense of Mars, humanity's first line of protection for Earth. But when the alien fleet arrived, Mars looked almost undefended. Only a few orbital stations and some patrol ships guarded the red planet. "Human Commander," came the familiar alien transmission. "We have come to accept your surrender. Resist, and your homeworld will share the fate of your colonies." Beijin's response was simple. "Come and take it." The alien fleet moved toward Mars, expecting easy victory. They had brought enough ships to destroy Earth's entire space navy twice over. But as they approached the planet, strange things started happening. The first alien ship to enter Mars orbit simply vanished in a ball of fire. Then another. And another. "What's happening?" demanded the Velthari commander from his flagship. Engineer Kang Sol watched from his command center deep under Mars's surface. His new weapons were working perfectly. Kinetic bombardment platforms hidden in the asteroid belt fired streams of metal projectiles at incredible speeds. The aliens' shields, designed to stop energy weapons, were useless against simple chunks of steel moving at a significant fraction of light speed. "Launch Phase 2, Beijin ordered from his underground bunker. Suddenly, Mars itself seemed to come alive. Hidden missile silos opened across the planet's surface. Thousands of nuclear warheads launched simultaneously, too many for the alien point defense systems to stop. But these weren't ordinary nuclear weapons. Dr. Yoon Hana had modified them based on her analysis of alien physiology. Each warhead carried biological agents designed to contaminate alien ships, making them uninhabitable for weeks. The Velthari fleet found itself under attack from every direction. The planet they thought was helpless had become a fortress. Worse, the humans were using tactics the aliens had never seen before. "Sir, they're ramming our ships," reported a panicked alien officer. Automated human vessels loaded with explosives and controlled by simple AI systems crashed into alien ships at random intervals. The aliens couldn't predict or stop them because the ships had no crew to threaten or bargain with. The battle for Mars lasted 6 days. The aliens had the firepower to destroy the planet completely, but they kept trying to capture it intact. They didn't understand that humans had no intention of leaving anything useful behind. On the 7th day, Beijin activated the final protocol. "All personnel to deep shelters. Initiate scorched Earth." The nuclear charges buried throughout Mars's crust detonated simultaneously. The planet's surface turned to molten glass, taking out the remaining alien landing forces and damaging ships in low orbit. Mars was uninhabitable, but the aliens had paid a terrible price for a worthless rock. Of the 300 ships in the Velthari invasion fleet, only 80 survived to retreat. They had technically won the battle, but at a cost that shocked the entire Galactic Council. Captain Ryu Day commanded one of humanity's new deep space raiders, the experimental ship Prometheus. While the aliens were focused on Mars, he led a strike force behind enemy lines to hit their supply bases. "Remember," Ryu Day told his crew, "we're not here to capture anything. We're here to send a message." The human raiders struck 12 alien outposts in 2 weeks. They didn't try to hold territory or steal technology. They simply destroyed everything they found and disappeared before reinforcements could arrive. But it was the attack on the civilian station at Proxima Vel that really got the aliens' attention. Ryu Dai's ships arrived to find a diplomatic station full of alien families and government officials. "Sir, there are children on that station," reported his tactical officer. Ryu Dai hesitated for exactly 3 seconds. Then he remembered the human children killed in the first alien attacks. "Fire," he ordered. The station disappeared in nuclear fire. Along with it died the alien belief that humans would follow civilized rules of warfare. Back on Earth, General Cho Wu received reports from all fronts. The war was spreading across dozens of star systems. Human colonies were under attack, but they were fighting back with a savagery that terrified their enemies. Colonel O. Sora, Earth's intelligence chief, entered Cho Wu's office with the latest intercepts. "Sir, we're monitoring alien communications. They're calling emergency sessions of their Galactic Council. Some species are demanding we be completely destroyed before we spread further." "Good," Cho Wu said grimly. "Fear is a weapon too." Dr. Yoon Hana had been working on something new in her laboratory. She called it the Extinction Protocol. Biological weapons tailored to specific alien genetic markers. If the galaxy wanted to make this a war of extinction, humanity would be ready. "Sir," she reported to Cho Wu, "I need authorization for biological weapon deployment." Cho Wu looked at the file she handed him. "The weapons could wipe out entire species in weeks. Are you sure about this?" The aliens started this war by attacking our civilians, Yunhana replied. They want to treat us like animals. Let's show them what happens when you corner a dangerous animal. The authorization went through the next day. The galaxy was about to learn that humans didn't just fight wars, they ended them permanently. Engineer Kang. Saul finished his latest project. Factory ships that could turn asteroids into weapons platforms in weeks instead of years. Soon, every star system would be a potential fortress. Ambassador Song Yuna sent one final message to the Galactic Council. You attacked us first. You chose to make this about survival. We will survive. The question is whether you will. The message was ignored. The aliens still thought they could win through superior technology and numbers. They were about to discover they were very wrong. Fleet Admiral Jiang Minho watched the holographic display showing the current state of the war. Red dots marked alien-controlled systems, blue showed human territory, and gray indicated contested space. After 2 years of fighting, the map looked like a patchwork of destruction. Casualty reports. Colonel Osora, he requested from his flagship orbiting the burned remains of Europa Station. Osora consulted her datapad with tired eyes. Human military losses are at 40%. Civilian casualties number in the millions. But sir, alien losses are much worse. We estimate they've lost 60% of their combined fleet strength. Dr. Shinyura entered the command center carrying a sealed case. Her lab coat was stained with chemicals and she looked like she hadn't slept in days. Admiral, the extinction protocol is ready for deployment. Jiang Minho had hoped it wouldn't come to this. When the war started, humans had still believed in the possibility of peaceful coexistence. That hope died when the aliens formed their Terran extermination coalition, 12 species working together to completely wipe out humanity. Show me what you've developed, he said grimly. Shinyura opened the case, revealing small metal cylinders no larger than a person's thumb. These contain engineered viruses tailored to specific alien genetic markers. Each one targets a different species. The Velthari virus attacks their respiratory system. The Zephyrian variant destroys their nervous tissue. The hegemony strain causes rapid cellular breakdown. Captain Ryu Day, now commander of the stealth fleet, leaned closer to examine the weapons. How effective are they? Complete species extinction within 6 months of initial deployment, Shinyura replied without emotion. The viruses are designed to spread through air, water, and physical contact. There is no cure. The command center fell silent. Even hardened military officers understood what they were looking at, weapons that could end entire civilizations. Sir, Osora said quietly, intelligence reports indicate the aliens are preparing their own extinction weapon. Something called a star killer that can destroy entire solar systems. Jiang Minho nodded slowly. The choice was simple. Use the biological weapons first or watch humanity burn in stellar fire. Deploy the extinction protocol, he ordered. Target the 3 species that attacked our core worlds. Show the galaxy what happens when you try to extinct humanity. Captain Ryuday's stealth ships launched within hours. Their mission was simple. Infiltrate alien space and deploy the biological weapons on major population centers. No military targets, no strategic installations. Just civilian worlds where the viruses could spread fastest. The first target was Velthari Prime, the homeworld of the species that started the war. Ryuday's ship Shadow approached the planet using new cloaking technology developed from captured alien equipment. Sir, we're reading 8 billion inhabitants, reported his science officer, Lieutenant Kim Mu. Major cities, agricultural centers, industrial complexes. Are there any humans on the planet? Ryuday asked. No, sir. Intelligence confirms all human prisoners were executed last month. Ryuday thought about his sister, killed in the first alien attack on New Sol Colony. He thought about the children who died when the aliens bombed human refugee ships. Then he pressed the deployment button. Invisible canisters fell through Velthari Prime's atmosphere, releasing their deadly cargo over population centers. The virus would take 2 weeks to show symptoms, and by then it would be too late to stop. Next target, Ryuday ordered. The Zephyrian homeworld fell 3 days later. Then the hegemony capital. Each time Ryudai's crews watched billions of unsuspecting aliens go about their daily lives, not knowing they were already dead. Back on Earth, General Cho Wu received urgent reports from the front lines. The aliens had learned about the biological attacks and were demanding immediate human surrender. They're offering to spare Earth if we stop the virus deployment. Ambassador Song Yuna reported from her secure bunker. They say they'll let some humans live as servants. Cho Wu laughed bitterly. After they formed an extermination coalition? After they killed our civilians? Tell them humanity's answer. The message he sent to the Galactic Council was broadcast across the galaxy. You chose to make this a war of extinction. You will get exactly what you asked for. Dr. Shin Yura worked around the clock in her laboratory, developing new variants of the extinction virus. Her team had learned to modify the weapons based on captured alien genetic samples. Admiral, she reported to Jiang Minho, we now have biological weapons effective against all known alien species. Deployment time for galaxy-wide extinction, 18 months. And the Star Killer weapon they're building? Our spies report it will be ready in 6 months, Colonel Osora answered. They plan to use it on Sol first, then hunt down any surviving human colonies. The race was on. Humanity had to spread the extinction virus fast enough to cripple alien civilization before they could deploy their planet-killing weapon. Admiral Komiran commanded the siege fleets that surrounded alien worlds after the virus deployment. Her job wasn't to invade. It was to make sure no one escaped to spread word of the biological weapons. Sir, we're receiving surrender transmissions from Zephyrian Command, her communications officer reported. Ignore them, Komiran ordered. Our job is containment until the virus completes its work. On the planet below, the Zephyrian government was in panic. Their people were dying by the millions, and the human ships wouldn't respond to any communications. They had finally realized that humans didn't take prisoners in extinction wars. General Nam Ara led the ground forces that would occupy alien worlds after the biological weapons finished their work. But first she had to deal with the alien military bases that might survive the plague. Remember, she told her troops before the assault on Velthari Military Command, these aliens wanted to kill every human in the galaxy. Show them the same mercy they planned to show our children. The battle was one-sided. Alien soldiers, weakened by disease and demoralized by the deaths of their families, could barely fight. Nam Ara's forces showed no quarter. 3 months after the first virus deployment, the results were clear. The Velthari population had dropped from 8 billion to less than 50 million. The Zephyrians were down to isolated pockets of survivors. The hegemony species was functionally extinct. Sir, Dr. Shin Yura reported to Fleet Admiral Jiang Minho, we're ready for Phase 2. Biological weapons targeting the remaining 9 species in the extermination coalition. But before Jiang Minho could give the order, Colonel Osora burst into the command center with urgent news. Sir, we've intercepted alien communications. The remaining species are surrendering. They're offering to dismantle the Starkiller weapon and withdraw from human space completely. Jiang Minho studied the intelligence reports. The aliens were genuinely terrified. They had never seen warfare like this. Systematic, efficient, and absolutely merciless. What are their exact terms? He asked. Complete withdrawal from human territory, dismantling of all superweapons, and formal recognition of human sovereignty over claimed space, Osora read from her datapad. And in exchange, they want us to stop the biological weapons program and promise not to attack their remaining worlds. Jiang Minho considered the offer for exactly 10 seconds. Send them our counter-proposal. Complete surrender of all alien military forces, submission to human authority, and reparations for every human killed in their extermination war. They have 24 hours to accept. And if they refuse? Song Yuna asked. Then we deploy biological weapons against all remaining alien species, Jiang Minho replied. We finish what they started. The message went out across the galaxy. For the first time in galactic history, an entire interstellar civilization was being forced to surrender unconditionally to a species they had considered inferior. Captain Ryu Day waited in his stealth ship near the Galactic Council's hidden emergency meeting station. In his cargo hold were enough biological weapons to extinct every species in the galaxy. Sir, his communications officer reported, we're receiving a transmission from the Council. It's addressed to all human forces. The message was short and desperate. We surrender. Please stop the killing. But Fleet Admiral Jiang Minho wasn't satisfied with mere surrender. Humanity had learned a terrible lesson about galactic politics. The only way to ensure safety was to make sure your enemies could never threaten you again. Continue the operation, he ordered, but reduce the target list. We'll spare the species that didn't join the extermination coalition. The others, They made their choice. Dr. Shin Yura looked at her remaining viral weapons. Sir, are you sure? This will make us the most hated species in galactic history. Better hated than extinct, Jiang Minho replied. Besides, fear is more reliable than love. The galaxy will remember what happens when you threaten humanity's children. The second wave of biological weapons deployed 3 days later. By the end of the month, 7 more alien species had been reduced to tiny populations of survivors. The galaxy's greatest civilizations lay in ruins, their worlds empty except for the dead. Humanity had won the extinction war, but the victory came with a terrible price. They had become the monsters the galaxy would fear for generations to come. Supreme Commander Park Hyun stood on the bridge of the massive warship Retribution, watching as another alien world burned beneath them. 5 years had passed since the extinction war began, and the galaxy barely resembled what it once was. Where proud alien civilizations once thrived, only empty worlds and scattered survivors remained. Harvest report from Sector 7, announced Admiral Ko Moran from her command station. Her fleet had become experts at stripping resources from conquered systems. Zephyrian industrial complex fully dismantled. All useful technology transferred to human research stations. Planetary mining operations complete. Park Hyun nodded as he reviewed the data streams flowing across his displays. The Harvest Protocol had become humanity's most efficient tool. Systematic extraction of everything valuable from alien worlds before rendering them uninhabitable. It wasn't enough to defeat their enemies. Humanity needed to ensure they could never rebuild. Dr. Lee Junho, director of the Harvest Research Division, approached with his latest findings. Commander, we've finished analyzing the Velthari medical technology. Their healing systems could extend human lifespan by 300 years. We're ready to begin integration into our colonies. Excellent, Park Hyun replied. What about their faster-than-light communication systems? Already installed on all human vessels, Lee Junho confirmed. We can now coordinate operations across the galaxy in real time. No alien force can move without us knowing within minutes. The irony wasn't lost on Park Hyun. Humanity had gained more advanced technology in 5 years of war than most species developed in centuries of peace. Every conquered world brought new scientific discoveries, better weapons, and improved defenses. General Nam Ara's voice crackled over the communication system from the planet's surface. Sir, we've completed processing of the surviving Velthari population. Approximately 40,000 individuals sorted by usefulness. Scientists and engineers marked for work programs, others prepared for relocation to designated zones. Any resistance? Park Hyun asked. Minimal, Namara replied. They understand their situation. Cooperation means survival. Resistance means joining their extinct relatives. The screening process had become routine. Useful aliens were kept alive to serve human interests. Scientists, engineers, and skilled workers found themselves in research facilities, building the technology that would keep humanity supreme. Others were relocated to carefully controlled areas where they could survive but never threaten human authority. Admiral Ko Moran updated her tactical displays showing the current state of galactic conquest. Sir, intelligence reports that 3 more species are requesting permission to surrender before we reach their territories. Park Hyun studied the reports. The remaining alien civilizations had watched in horror as their neighbors were systematically destroyed or enslaved. Many were offering complete submission without even being attacked. What are they offering? He asked. Colonel Osora, now head of human intelligence operations, consulted her files. The Andromedans are offering their entire industrial base and 50% of their population as workers. The Centauri Federation wants to become a human protectorate in exchange for keeping their government structure. The Outer Rim Alliance is offering tribute of raw materials and technology. And the Galactic Council? What's left of it, Osora said grimly. 5 species out of the original 27 members. They're meeting in secret, probably planning one last desperate attack. Park Hyun smiled coldly. The Galactic Council that had once ruled thousands of worlds was now hiding in fear from a species they'd considered primitive just 5 years ago. Dr. Lee Junyo had been developing new applications for alien technology. His teams worked around the clock in massive research facilities built from the bones of conquered civilizations. Commander, he reported during the weekly science briefing, we've made breakthrough discoveries in 3 critical areas. First, hegemony shield technology can protect entire planets from stellar radiation. Second, Zephyrian neural interfaces allow direct mental control of starships. Third, Velthari genetic modification can enhance human physical and mental capabilities. Implementation timeline, Park Hyun asked. Shield generators are already being installed around Earth and our core worlds. Lee Junho replied. Neural interfaces are being tested on volunteer pilots. Genetic enhancement programs await your authorization. The thought of improving humanity itself was tempting. With alien technology, humans could become stronger, smarter, and longer-lived. They could adapt to any environment and survive any threat. Begin limited trials, Park Hyun decided. Start with our military personnel. General Nam Ara's ground forces had evolved far beyond their original purpose. No longer simple soldiers, they had become specialists in planetary occupation and resource extraction. Her troops could strip a world of everything valuable in weeks, leaving only empty rocks behind. Sir, she reported from her command ship above the former hegemony capital world. We've encountered something unusual. The planet's automated defense systems are still functional, but they're not attacking us. Explain, Park Hyun demanded. The remaining hegemony survivors have reprogrammed their own defenses to serve human interests. They're hoping cooperation will earn them better treatment. It was becoming a common pattern. Alien species were so terrified of human retaliation that they actively helped in their own subjugation. They dismantled their own weapons, handed over their technology, and policed their own populations to prevent resistance. Admiral Ko Miran's siege fleets had perfected the art of psychological warfare. Her ships would arrive at alien systems and simply wait in orbit, saying nothing, demanding nothing. The fear alone was often enough to cause complete surrender. Sir, her tactical officer reported during the siege of the Andromedian home system. They're broadcasting surrender terms again. They want to know what we require for their survival. Continue silent running, Ko Miran ordered. Let them think about what happened to the others. The strategy was devastatingly effective. While her ships waited, alien governments collapsed into panic, their populations demanding immediate surrender to prevent the horrible fate that had befallen other species. Colonel O. Sora's intelligence network had grown to encompass most of the galaxy. Surviving aliens reported to human authorities, providing information about any potential threats or resistance movements. Commander, she briefed Park Hyun, we've identified the location of the final Galactic Council meeting. They're gathering at a hidden station in the Void Sector, probably planning a last stand. Force strength? Minimal. Perhaps 50 ships total from 5 different species. They're calling it Operation Final Dawn. Apparently their plan to make one symbolic attack before humanity wipes them out completely. Park Hyun considered his options. He could easily destroy the remaining council forces, but that might create martyrs. Better to demonstrate humanity's total dominance in a way that would be remembered forever. Prepare a full battle fleet, he ordered. We'll accept their challenge. But we won't just defeat them. We'll capture them alive and put them on trial for crimes against humanity. The final battle of the Galactic War took place in deep space, far from any inhabited systems. The remnants of the Galactic Council's forces arranged themselves in a desperate defensive formation, their 50 ships facing a human fleet of 300 vessels. The alien commander sent a final transmission. Humans, you have already won. Why do you continue this slaughter? Park Hyun's response was broadcast across the galaxy. You started a war of extinction. We will finish it our way. Surrender now and you will live to stand trial. Continue fighting and share the fate of your genocidal allies. The battle lasted exactly 17 minutes. Human forces, using technology stolen from conquered aliens, overwhelmed the Council fleet without losing a single ship. The alien survivors were taken prisoner and transported to Earth for judgment. Dr. Lee Junho's research into human enhancement had yielded remarkable results. The first enhanced soldiers were stronger than any alien species, capable of surviving in hostile environments that would kill normal humans. Commander, he reported, the enhancement program is ready for widespread implementation. We can improve the entire human population within a generation. Begin with military personnel and essential workers, Park Hyun decided. The galaxy is going to remember this war for a long time. We need to make sure humanity stays on top. General Nam Ara oversaw the construction of human settlements on former alien worlds. These weren't just colonies. They were monuments to human dominance built from the ruins of alien civilizations. "Sir," she reported, "the new settlement on former Velthari Prime is complete. Population, 50,000 humans, 10,000 alien workers. All strategic resources secured. The transformation was complete. Worlds that had been home to billions of aliens now served as human colonies, their original inhabitants either dead or serving as laborers for their conquerors. Admiral Comaran's fleets now patrolled the galaxy unopposed. Her ships were symbols of human authority, reminding surviving aliens that resistance was impossible and submission was the only path to survival. "Sir," her communications officer reported, "we're receiving tribute shipments from 17 different species. Raw materials, manufactured goods, and scientific data. Any signs of resistance or rebellion?" "None, sir." The Emperor Kang Woon stood on the balcony of his palace, looking out over the city that had once been the heart of galactic civilization. 10 years ago, this world was called Galactic Prime, capital of the council that ruled thousands of species. Today it was New Terra, crown jewel of the human galactic empire. The coronation ceremony had ended hours ago, but alien representatives still filled the great plaza below. Delegates from every surviving species had come to swear loyalty to humanity's first emperor. Those who refused the invitation simply didn't survive to refuse anything else. "Your Majesty," Admiral Choi Ina approached with her daily report. Her title was now Grand Admiral of the Imperial Fleet, commander of the most powerful military force the galaxy had ever known. "The loyalty ceremony proceeds as planned. 43 species have formally submitted to Imperial authority." "And the others?" Emperor Kang Woon asked. "The Rigel Confederacy is requesting more time to prepare their tribute. The Tau Ceti Alliance claims their government is still recovering from our last diplomatic mission." Kang Woon smiled slightly. Diplomatic mission was the official term for what everyone else called the burning of 3-star systems, to demonstrate human patience with delays. Governor Lim Gyu, administrator of the Terran Colonial Authority, joined them on the balcony. His job was managing the integration of alien populations into the new order, a task that required both efficiency and creativity. "Your Majesty," he reported, "the education programs are showing excellent results. Alien children in human schools now learn Imperial Standard as their first language. By the next generation, local alien languages will be extinct." "What about resistance from adult populations?" "Minimal and decreasing," Lim Gyu replied. "The older generations remember what happened to species that resisted human authority. They teach their children that cooperation is survival." Dr. Han Nuri, director of Alien Integration Studies, had spent years developing the most effective methods for controlling surviving alien populations. Her research center studied every aspect of alien psychology, biology, and culture to find the best ways to ensure permanent human dominance. "Your Majesty," she said, joining the group, "our latest studies confirm the effectiveness of the integration protocol. Alien populations under human control showed decreasing birth rates, reduced cultural identity, and increasing dependence on human technology for basic survival." "Is this intentional?" the Emperor asked. "The reduced birth rates are a natural response to stress and uncertainty," Dr. Han Nuri explained. "The cultural destruction is a result of our education policies. The technological dependence is carefully engineered. Within 50 years, no alien species will be capable of independent existence." Emperor Kang Woon nodded approvingly. The goal wasn't just to rule the galaxy. It was to ensure that humanity's dominance could never be challenged. If aliens couldn't survive without human support, they could never rebel. Admiral Choi Ina's fleets patrolled every inhabited system in the galaxy. Her ships were no longer weapons of war but symbols of imperial authority. Their presence reminded everyone that defiance was impossible and submission was the only option. "Your Majesty," she reported during the weekly military briefing, "our deep space scouts have identified 17 uninhabited systems with valuable resources. Should we begin colonization?" "Proceed," the Emperor ordered. "But remember the protocols. Complete environmental surveys first. If we find any signs of pre-sentient life, sterilize the planets before settlement." The order seemed harsh, but it was based on hard-learned lessons. Humanity had discovered that even primitive life forms could evolve into potential threats given enough time. The solution was simple: eliminate any competition before it could develop. Governor Lim Gyu's colonial administration had become incredibly efficient at processing conquered worlds. His teams could strip away alien culture, resettle populations, and establish human control within months of occupation. "Your Majesty," he reported from his headquarters on former Velthari Prime, "the last native settlements have been relocated to designated zones. Human colonists are moving into the major cities. All local infrastructure has been modified for human use." "What about the Velthari survivors?" "Approximately 30,000 individuals remain in controlled communities. They work in resource extraction and basic maintenance. Their children attend human schools and show excellent progress in abandoning their original culture." The transformation was remarkable. Worlds that had been home to alien civilizations for thousands of years now looked like they had always belonged to humanity. Alien architecture was demolished or converted. Native languages were banned. Traditional customs were forgotten as new generations learned only human ways. Dr. Han Nuri's research facilities continued developing new methods of control. Her latest project involved genetic modification of alien populations to make them more docile and dependent on human guidance. "Your Majesty," she reported with barely concealed excitement, "we've successfully modified the reproductive biology of several species. The new generations will be physically incapable of aggression against humans. They'll also have enhanced intelligence in areas useful to the Empire, while losing capacity for independent thought." "Are there ethical concerns?" the Emperor asked, though his tone suggested this was merely a formality. "None that outweigh the security benefits," Dr. Han Nuri replied. "These modifications ensure permanent peace and prosperity for both humans and aliens. The aliens become better at serving human needs, and humans never again face the threat of alien rebellion." Admiral Choi Ina had developed new technologies for monitoring the galaxy. Every inhabited world now had surveillance systems that reported directly to human authorities. No alien could move, communicate, or even think rebellious thoughts without Imperial intelligence knowing about it. "Your Majesty," she reported, "our monitoring systems have detected 47 potential resistance movements across the galaxy. All have been eliminated before they could organize." "How were they eliminated?" "Selective biological weapons targeted at the genetic markers of resistance leaders. The affected individuals simply died of apparent natural causes. Their followers, lacking leadership, returned to normal activities. The system was perfect in its simplicity. Any alien who showed signs of leadership or independent thought would mysteriously fall ill and die. The survivors learned to keep their heads down and follow human orders without question. Governor Lim Gyu had established schools throughout the galaxy where alien children learned human history, human values, and human superiority. The curriculum was carefully designed to break any connection to their original cultures. "Your Majesty," he reported with satisfaction, "testing shows that alien children educated in our schools demonstrate higher loyalty to the Empire than to their own families. They actively report family members who express nostalgic thoughts about pre-human times." "Excellent," Emperor Kangwun replied. "Expand the program to all inhabited worlds. I want every alien child in the galaxy attending human schools within 5 years." The transformation of the next generation was perhaps humanity's greatest achievement. Alien children grew up believing that human rule was natural and beneficial. They learned that their ancestors had been primitive and violent, and that human conquest had brought peace and prosperity to the galaxy. Dr. Han Nuri's final project was perhaps the most ambitious, the complete rewriting of galactic history. Her teams of human and controlled alien scholars worked to create new historical records that portrayed human conquest as liberation rather than subjugation. "Your Majesty," she reported, "the new galactic history is complete. According to our revised records, the galaxy was in a state of constant warfare before human intervention. We present ourselves as peacekeepers who ended centuries of alien conflict through superior wisdom and technology." "What about the extinct species? We describe them as casualties of pre-human wars, not victims of human biological weapons. The surviving species are portrayed as grateful beneficiaries of human protection and guidance. The new history was taught in every school, broadcast on every communication channel, and carved into monuments across the galaxy. Within a generation, even the aliens believed that human rule had saved them from their own violent nature. Admiral Choi Ina's military had evolved beyond simple conquest forces. Her fleets now included exploration vessels searching for new worlds to colonize, research ships developing better control technologies, and mobile bases that could establish human authority in remote systems. Your Majesty, she reported, long-range scouts have detected signals from beyond our galaxy. There may be other intelligent species in neighboring star clusters. Emperor Kang Woon considered this information carefully. What do you recommend? Full military expansion, Choi Ina replied without hesitation. If there are aliens beyond our galaxy, they represent potential threats to human security. We should locate and eliminate them before they discover us. Approved, the Emperor decided. Begin preparations for intergalactic expansion. The galaxy is no longer enough for humanity. Governor Lim Gyu's administration had created a new class of aliens, the Enhanced Collaborators. These were aliens who had undergone